Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Threezero DLX Optimus Prime from Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Let's do a question of the day right away. Did you like that movie? Did you want it to be something different? Did you want it to be something more or less? Or what were your thoughts? For me, it was fine. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. It's okay. I like to see where they're going with it. We'll talk about the Beast Wars stuff when I review the Beast Wars stuff. But this guy's design is pretty darn good, and I know what you're thinking. If you're a Transformers person, you're thinking the Bumblebee version is better, and I agree with you 99.9%. We'll talk about that when I review the Bumblebee version. But this guy is still a pretty darn good figure, so let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. This one, it's too big. It's a package that's too big. I can't quite get it on the screen completely, but you're missing very, very little. It does have a giant flap, which shows the figure there, and would show the figure there. I have the thing in upside down. But yeah, it's good packaging. They do pretty good packaging on these figures. For the price point, I think you're getting a hell of a lot. I would have expected the packaging to be cheaper, frankly. I know they're kind of expensive, but you're still getting a lot of figure for the money, so generally, I would expect the packaging to take a hit, but it doesn't seem to. Alright, so this guy is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. If you want to get one by the end of the review, I'll have a link in the description below. He stands about, let's call it 28. Yeah, just a touch over 28, and that's going to make him almost 11, just about 11. That's definitely good enough. We don't need to measure it like we're sending him to the moon. Alright, no pun intended, sort of, I guess. He didn't go to the... Did he go to the... I don't know which one's the continuity anymore. I don't think there is a continuity. There he is up against Darwin, right up to the peeper. Okay, so let's turn his eyes off. He does have light-up eyes. They look pretty nice. Not as bright as they could be, but they do light up. You're not going to be able to tell with the studio lights, probably. Let's see. Let's see if we can show you the eyes. Yeah, they're honestly not that bright. I guess because they did the blue and, I don't know, some of their other figures have significantly brighter eyes. And they're okay. If it's not a studio lit room, they look alright. But Primal's eyes, for instance, look way nicer than his, if you ask me. They light up better. But maybe it's just because they went with the dark blue. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about this guy. We'll do one more question of the day. Have I won any of you over to the dark side of Transformers that don't transform? Have any of you been converted, or have you already been here, or are you just never going to? Let me know, because I've always been more in line with this sort of stuff. So this guy, I know it's not perfectly screen accurate, like in a lot of ways, but for me personally, I think it looks better than the on-screen version, so I am just thrilled with that. I don't really care. I don't mind at all. I think they made their hips so wide, or at least the thigh gap on these Optimus is even the better one from the other movie. There's just too much thigh gap, and his hips are way out here, and it's just strange looking. This figure actually tones it down a little bit. They thickened up his thighs and brought him in a little bit. I think it looks a lot better. But yeah, this figure is just freaking gorgeous. It is a beautiful, beautiful figure. There's all kinds of sharp sculpt work just about everywhere. You can see there's window plastic in there. The metallics are nice and metallic. The details are nice and detail-y. It is just covered with detail. And yeah, there are a lot of third-party parts out there to change things or augment things or whatever. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff out there. If you really wanted to get into it, you could make the figure look even better. I don't think it's necessary by any means, is what I'm getting at. I was thinking about it when I was starting to get into this DLX line. I was thinking about getting into the third-party stuff and custom parts and things like that, and like, yeah, they're better, but these figures are so damn good on their own, I don't think I need to spend the money. I don't. These guys are pretty darn good looking. Even his tires are tirey. They're rubber tires that have a nice wash on them, and they actually spin. All the wheels spin, guys, by the way. On all the DLX Transformers, at least all the ones that I have, which is a bunch now, all the wheels spin, even though they have no reason to, and I like that. But yeah, he's just chock full of good paint and good sculpt, and I love it. So, I'll take a point off because it's not technically accurate, but 9 out of 10, aesthetically. It is wonderful. I like it a lot. Okay, let's talk about the accessories. We have the interchangeable faceplate, so if you don't like him looking cool and want his face to show. It's so weird that they kept kind of the face from the Bay Transformers Optimus. which was already kind of weird, but then stuck it on this more G1 style. Whatever, that's a stylistic choice. Whatever, you get it for the figure if you want it. You get a whole bunch of different hands, including that time when Bumblebee was mouthing off and he ripped his hand off. You get that hand too, so bunch of hands, alternate face. You do get the cannons that go over his hands. Now, I want to talk about these. You get 2 of them, but I'm only going to hold 1 because I only have so many hands myself. There's a lot of kibble. I mean, it's not kibble, it's parts, but they're just glued on here, and you have to peg this onto his handhole, and then that little tab right there goes on right here. See that? You can't see it, it's too dark. Dang it. Dang it. Alright, professionalism. There, you can see that little tab hole. You peg that on there, and so the hand comes off, and this replaces the hand, which is fine. They seem to stick out really far. I can't do it on camera, I'll show you in a photo. They seem to stick out really far. I don't remember if that's accurate or not. I don't like the way it looks, so I'll never use them. But the other reason I'll never use them is getting these things off. It's hard enough to get them on. The peg is too damn tight. But getting them off, the glued on pieces pop off, which means you're breaking the glue and hopefully not breaking the piece. I had one pop off. Luckily, nothing actually broke. It was just the glue and I could re-glue it, but yanking on this thing to get it off is difficult. That sounds horrible. So be aware of that. But the cool thing is they do have a really nice light up feature, and we'll see how well this shows. But you just press in the whole front half and it glows really, really well. It's hard to see. Again, I know, studio lighting. Can't really help it. I don't have the production values of somebody with a budget, because I have 0 budget to make my videos. Anyway, it lights up really, really nice. It's hard to see on camera, but it does light up. It glows very well. And if you click it again, it does this thing where the lights circle. I'm not sure why exactly. Or they just pulse? I thought they circle. Oh, they do technically circle. It looks like a pulse. Once they're actually, like if you take it apart, oh, I can't, there's a screw. If you take it apart, you can see that they actually are circling. But it looks like a pulse on camera. I don't know. Anyway, they do something, and then you click it again to turn it off. So it's a cool feature. I like the blasters being included, but I'll never use them. They're too easy to break, and I don't think they add that much. So you get those, and then you get the 2 swords, which are really awesome. I love the way they did the transparent plastic for the blades. Looks great. These just slide into those same tabs. They seem a little bit long too. I'm guessing they're reasonably accurate. And then you get his 2 axes, which one is just a regular metal one and one is the Energon blade, and that looks gorgeous. Love that. And then very lastly, you get a display stand, which is sufficient. I'm not a display stand sort of guy, but you do get it if you want one. So accessory-wise, pretty good. Not great, but it's a lot still. I'll go 9. I'll go 9. Those blasters are cool, except they fall apart when you try to remove them. Alright, so let's talk about the articulation on this guy. You're thinking DLX, it should be really good, and in some ways it is. In other ways it's not. So the head, pretty limited, but enough. The neck moves, the head moves. It'll be fine. He's not doing like any Spider-Man poses. Can't even really look up very well, but I'd say it's enough. It'll do. I'd rather his neck not be as long and have limited articulation than looking like a lollipop. For the shoulders, these guys can move, and the whole shoulder pad can move, so that'll help with posability. You do get this big old cylindrical butterfly joint that lets the whole thing pull out, so you get that, and then also it can rotate, so you can raise it up and out, so that's pretty cool. I like that. That's pretty functional. It helps posability around his big old blocky chest. And then, of course, you're going to get your standard rotation. Some of his joints are just ridiculously tight, so you have the full rotation there. And if you want to raise the arm out, that happens all the way out here, but it works. So you get, oops, we're losing focus. You get enough range, for sure. You're gonna have to kind of mess with it to get him to pose around the chest, but it does work. They don't have any flaps or anything like the Iron Man figures have, unfortunately, or even like the Primal has, but it's functional enough, so I'll take it. The bicep swivel is about as basic a bicep swivel as you can get, which is, I guess it's fine for the robot. There's not much else you can do, and you can't really tell once it's posed anyway. So that's fine. Now the elbows. The elbows are halfway awesome and halfway not. They have a really nice design that you can't even really tell it's there until you're using it. See how that tucks in? That's so nice. It's very, very cool. Love that. But that's as far as it goes. And then you have the secondary joint, which is down here. I guess that's enough. I don't know, it just gets ugly and it doesn't have as much range as I was hoping for such an ugly joint. It's still better than 90. It's fine. It's just, to me, this part just gets so ugly down here. Once you expose this bottom half, it just looks cheap and weird. Maybe it looks like that in the movie. I wasn't studying his elbows when I watched the movie. But it looks great at any other pose, just not fully bent. That's what kills it right there for me. But it's still functional enough, so I won't harp on it too much. For the wrists, I'll just show you. Ball pegs. There's a little hinge in the ball peg too. So I guess that's helpful. It's not really, but it is, I guess. So you get that. You don't need a whole lot of wrist movement, I suppose. Alright, for the torso, it doesn't have as much as I was hoping. You do get the upper torso rotation and the waist. You have to be careful because all these skirt armors, the Gundam pieces, they can get in the way. But he does have rotation in the waist, not a ton. And then rotation in the upper, again, not a ton. Leaning forward is actually surprisingly good, like really good. Really, really good. And they accounted for the bend and everything. So that's awesome. They're killing ab crunches lately, this company. Love that. Love it. Leaning back, just a little. Just a little, but not really. I'd probably almost always just leave him all the way leaned back if I had to say. But yeah, just a touch. And then side to side. Not bad. I'll take it. For a big, like this design for Optimus is pretty damn blocky. And so anything you can get out of him is actually pretty good, I think, in the torso. So I'll take it. For the skirt pieces, they're connected on ball pegs. They hide themselves really well. Let me get in there a little tighter for you. That's what she said. That's what she said? I don't think so. They move around. They have little pistons that don't actually do anything, and they have hinges and balls and things to get them out of the way enough. And so let's just go ahead and see what kind of range we can get out of these hips. Let me move the camera a little bit. These bigger, heavier figures are difficult to film. Let's see. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. Ooh, yeah. Full on Kung Fu kick. There you go. Full on 100% splits. Let's see. Can we do splits, no nuggets? People have been asking me in my reviews. Those of you who have seen all of my reviews, you know why I say that. Those of you who haven't, the saying splits no nuggets means you can do the splits without having any weird things hanging down in the crotch. You don't want crotch nuggets when you're doing the splits, and he can do it with no nuggets. It is interesting. I don't think this is a defect if I had to guess, but if you look at what's there, right here and right here, it's the same piece, just flipped. I'm guessing they did that to save money, but you do get a hollower piece right there. I don't think that's a real big deal, but it is worth noting. If you're going to have them in the splits, it won't look as good as it could. I don't think anybody's putting them in the splits. So that's a really nice joint. It feels good. It's functional. Let's see about kicking forward. Alright, so these guys do move out of the way quite a lot, but that little piston right there likes to still be a problem. Let's see. You can swing the leg down to do it, and I guess that's what we're going to have to do. I was going to try to pose him without it, so he gets a really nice kick once you use that swing. You can see, it's not really a swing. Can you see in there? I don't know. Let's see if I can brighten it up even a little more. Yeah, there goes the frame rate. There's like a sliding, swinging type of joint. It's almost like a Gundam figure. A lot of Gundams have that where the hip swings down. It's essentially a drop down, but it functions a little bit differently. But it's functional, and he does kick nicely, and it's not sloppy or anything, so I don't mind it. I don't mind that. I'll take it. So that works. But yeah, you can see how much lower his leg is now after we use that joint. It pivots up here, so I guess it's a swing, but it's also a slide. It's a lot of playground type terminology, but it's functional, so let's get that back in there. It's not going in. Is it? Is it up? I can't tell. Can we go higher? I don't think so. Alright, thigh swivel. Yeah, forget about thigh swivel. Very, very little thigh swivel. Like, basically nothing. So that's a thing. Double jointed knee is well designed. Like, we have some more parts that tuck in on each other or on themselves. So that's cool, but is it actually going to function or look good once it's done? The elbow is iffy. The knee is, well, let's go ahead and bring that leg back forward. The knee is also kind of iffy. There's a whole lot of stuff here that doesn't look like a knee once it's posed. Is that movie accurate? Did he have all of this going on separating the blue? Look at all that separation from that blue. That's a little bit weird. It's functional as heck though, and if you pose him, you probably will stop noticing it anyway, but I don't really like this. Because to me it looks like his knee is up here, then his leg is broken, and then you have more leg. I don't know. Anybody study the movie enough to know if that's accurate? I'm doubting it is. That seems like another weird elbow situation. But if you don't want to do that, just do it a little bit less and it's looking okay. But that's as far as you're going to go on that top joint. So yeah, the joints are technically well engineered, but also goofy looking for the knees and elbows. Still kind of cool though. All right, for the hips, I'm sorry, I don't sleep anymore. For the ankles, the hip of the foot. I am losing my mind. We have some parts here that move around to get out of the way, and this thing moves, which is like a whole, like a little shuttle that goes over the foot, the whole thing. But let's see what kind of range we can get. There's a big ball in there for sure. And if we pull that back, the foot doesn't want to go back any farther than that. So that seems like a not great situation going forward. Can we shift it? No. So yeah, it's not the best range. It's okay. Is there a toe? There has to be a toe. Yeah, okay. The toe is also not great. I feel like they had a lot more room to work down here, that they should have gotten us better range. Like, it's a clean looking joint. You can't see the joints, but it also has very little range. You do get rotation. Let's see about the ankle rocker. Okay, the ankle rocker is really nice, at least. Love that. It feels like there's a ball peg in there, but I'm not getting ball peg, or at least double ball peg type motion. So ankles seem like they could be better, or maybe I'm missing something here. Hard to say. The wheels do move to get out of the way, or at least this one does. But yeah, okay, so that's the articulation for this guy. Doesn't have any cool gimmicks or anything else. His chest does not open for a matrix. I like that the sliding, swinging joint does kind of pop into place. That's nice. Yeah, I don't remember the movie that much, honestly. It's been a while, but I don't think he had the matrix in his chest ever in the movie, and this figure doesn't have a chest feature at all. Okay, I know you can't see his head. We're going to fix it. So yeah, he articulates pretty darn well. Is it perfect? No. I think for the money, it's perfectly reasonable, and it's still a damn good-looking figure. I'll give his articulation, I want to say, you're going to be able to pose him pretty well despite the flaws. I'm going to say 8. I think 8's fair. It's a really impressive figure. I like it a whole lot. Personally, I can't wait to review the premium and the DLX versions of the good version of this guy with the blue in here, or in red in here, whatever he had, I don't remember, the B version. But yeah, it's an excellent release. I'm going to give it an overall rating of 9 out of 10. I know they're expensive, and they're not perfect, but this isn't the kind of figure where you're focusing on the negative things. There's enough good stuff that the negative things hardly even stand out. And that's kind of something I wish more people would understand. Like, if you're watching a review, if the figure is mostly bad, the bad stuff stands out so much more. But if a figure is mostly good, you can easily overlook the bad stuff, and that's how I try to convey my reviews. But of course, you guys can decide for yourself which things are important at any time. But I have to also add in my opinions on top of just the factual information. Okay, so anyway, I gave you a rating. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I think it's awesome. I loves it. I'm so happy I got into this Threezero line of Transformers. They're way better than they really have any right to be for the price point. So, I love them. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.